Okay, hey Bronco, we got our 5-liter out of the Mustang. Going to work on this just for a little bit right now because we found a paint shop that is able to do this in a couple weeks. So while I am working on the C10 and the F350 to get them ready for Motorama, we kind of want to have this there too. They can be painting it while I'm finishing the other two. That's the way the schedules go. I'm gonna strip the whole truck down, take all the trim off, take the glass out, take the roll bar out, take the interior out. We're gonna paint the whole engine bay as well. So we're gonna get rid of the whole front. Luckily, when we slammed this thing together at All for Fun Off-Road, we didn't use most of the screws, so it should come apart pretty easy. I promised myself I wouldn't get too carried away with this build. Oh, this is so much better. So these are the colors that we went with. This thing has been super good to us and has done more than it ever intended to do. We probably put more miles on this thing in the last year than in the previous 20, 30 put together. All for Fun Off-Road started making these brackets. Okay, so it's in there. Taking the trim off of these girls is, just be careful. Have you done a lot of bodywork welding?
Not too much.
I am going to tackle this roof. So you can see it's all banged up. This is about the least favorite part of building something like this is taking it apart. Because I know I've got the whole rest of the build ahead of me and I gotta take all this stuff off. And then I gotta put it all back on again. The problem is I'm gonna break like 3 of these clips and I'm not gonna know where to order them. I'm gonna find them. They're gonna be the wrong ones. These little plastic clips, they're riveted in, so we gotta pull those clips out. We gotta drill the rivets out. You drill the hole a bit too big. Now the rivet doesn't fit tight anymore and that squeaks and all those little things. A couple things to keep in mind is there's some plastic clips to hold this on, so you pull it off, except couple randoms that they bolt together. They bolt from the inside, so we got to pull the whole inside out, gonna pull the interior out, gonna pull the door panels off, gonna pull the glass out. It is quite a bit, so trying to stay a bit organized, and then yeah, we'll see how far we get. Here we go. Okay, so I've definitely seen worse. I'm really happy with this actually. 40-year-old truck, and I do have a little hole. Terrible, terrible, but that puts a big smile on my face still because it could have been a whole lot worse. I might order this panel and replace it anyway. I'm gonna get him to sandblast that and the back of it, and the back's not bad. I think if the seal leaks here and sits on the carpet and we got some wet feet from kids or whatever, that's why that rots. But it's still super solid. Pretty happy. I gotta drill each one of these out so that they can run their blocks nicely on it because we got little dings and dents along the way. But all in all, she's not too bad. We'll be back on it on Monday. Here we go. So taking the trim off of these girls is just be careful. We don't want to damage it. We can reuse these. Usually the trim at the ends will have a nut on the inside, somewhere where you can grab it. So this one is right here. Bottom ones have the same thing. You kind of feel up under there and right up underneath and see if you can feel a nut. And usually they have the nut somewhere you can get at it. So the door will be on the inside here. So we're gonna pull this trim off and then one side done. Here we go. Okay, so a couple things we got to do on the Bronco yet before we head it off to paint. Vince is cutting a couple plates into the firewall so we can cover up those holes. We don't need those big giant holes anymore. We're going to try and keep the sound in the engine bay. Have you done a lot of body work welding?
Not too much.
No, you're big into the heavy penetration.
Heavy.
So these are good practices for you.
Yeah.
You don't need to be beautiful or perfect. We just want to keep the noise in the engine bay. Yeah. After that, he's going to weld a plate for this held the seats in place. We're just going to plug that because we're not going to have the seats flip forward. We're just going to have them be able to slide forward and back. The sacrifice is now you've got more leg room, less leg room, and a little bit for trunk space, but we don't need to flip the seats right up anymore. I am going to tackle this roof. So you can see it's all banged up, pretty rough. And we found the original owners of a bunch of our vehicles, and it was always good talking to them and, you know, getting the history of it. The original owner of the Bronco, or the previous owner of the Bronco, did reach out for us to say, hey, that was our Bronco. And I think it was kind of rude to him, saying, were you the one that was dancing on the roof? And that was the last we talked to him. And I apologize for saying that. We shouldn't have said that. Because you were 100% right to be dancing on the roof, or your son, or whoever, because this was a bush truck. It was, you drive it out on a Friday night and have a couple beers and have a good time. And when a good looking girl says, can I dance on the roof of your Bronco? You say, yeah, you go ahead. But that was when it was a $500 Bronco back in 1998. Now they're worth a little bit more. And I think I was just a little bit upset because I realized how much work it's going to be to straighten that roof. So I did buy the skin. I was thinking about welding that in, but I don't like the idea of welding on the outside here and risking a pinhole or anything like that. So I think I'm going to cut the inside skin out and then push up and dolly on it and let the body guys work on that. Same amount of work to either blend in the seam as it is to dolly it and put a skin of Bondo on top. Doesn't have to be perfect because it is up higher. I'm 6'4" and the truck is already higher than I am. So most likely, unless you see it from the second story of a hotel, you don't really see the roof. So I'm gonna get going on that, and that's all we need. Then she's off to paint.
Lots of little dents, but that's much better than it was. So I'm gonna stop there before I make it worse.
We don't want the pop can effect, but without the inner skin on there, we could bend a piece of steel in an L and then shrink it to the curve and then just tack it before we paint it, and that'll prevent the pop up. And then before we weld in the front there, before we weld that in, we can soundproof the ceiling too, and they might sandblast the top here too yet. So should be good. Use the 2x4 and a hammer and dolly basically around the circle. You want to shrink the steel again because it gets stretched, and but you don't want it high either. So lots of screwing around, but I'm sure they'll get it better than what I got. There we go. Okay, only thing left is this rocker, and that you can see it's bent way down, and I just got to push back up on that. So I thought ahead and I put hooks in the ground. So we'll tie the truck to it. I tried lifting it with the jack already, it just picks up the truck. So we just got to take the jack and push up underneath there, but we'll tie the truck down to the hook Just gotta dig those out. Just one, we'll wrap it around the frame and then jack up on it. This should do it. Used to be there anyway. We got broken glass in there. We got, oh, all those bolts that I was missing. I don't use it often, but when I do, it is extremely handy. As you can see, a big gap right here, and you can see where this piece is all bent. It should be straight like that. Nice and neat, nice and neat. And crooked, crooked, and then straight again. So, we got our new straps from Princess Auto. That ain't going nowhere. Tied to the ground. And then we'll just jack up right here and pull and bang on this until it's straight again, and that should do it. Much better. So look how nice and straight it is. I can tell by the door that my gap at the top is a lot wider than the gap is on the bottom. So the door needs to come down and the front of the door needs to go up. And we put this door on in Montana in the dark, and I never really messed with it since. I think we're gonna leave it for the body guys so they can line up the gaps a little better. Yeah, they can. They might take the doors off anyway to sandblast and stuff. So there's no point in lining them up now. They can do that, but that looks much better. So we'll just straighten that a touch more with a dolly. But I think that's it for today. I think we'll push on it right there. There's still a decent kink right there. Vince said there's 2 holes there, so likely there was a step. And either it got punched up or pulled down, or 2-ton Tanya stepped on the passenger and bent her down. Anyway, yeah, looks much better. We'll get her. Okay, so finally got my floor pan. 3 days late, but we're still making it work. Just make it a little bit later of a night. So, looks to be exactly the same, other than this one keeps going for some reason. This indent is right. And that indent's right, and that indent's right. Now this is a tight fit. It goes right up into the corner, but my whole side looked good. This whole section looks good. So I'm gonna go up to this curve and eliminate this fold. I'm gonna go up on an angle like this because this still keeps going up. So that'll be able to make it just to about here, which is too bad because I missed that spot right there. But I'll get most of it. I don't think it just goes high enough on that side, which is very disappointing, but maybe I'll put a little patch in there from Princess Auto. Anyway, I'm gonna trim this, lay it in there, self-tap it, cut around it, cut that out. No problem, we got it. Okay, so I take it and I basically just use old roofing screws to pull it nice and tight down into the floor, the old floor, and I will have to plug weld the holes after. But now I've got a nice line that I can trace. You can run your zip blade along the edge as long as you're careful you don't wander off, or you can cut both at the same time. If you cut both at the same time, then guaranteed the width of the blade is just enough for your weld to hold, to butt weld everything up, and you're golden. So yeah, here we go. Because I've basically gone all the way around and cut, and I'm sure that I'm not cut on the corners perfectly, but you got a nice neat line all the way around. You can just see the light underneath and your weld will go perfect in there. If you do mess up and you forget, you can just put your screws back in the same holes that they came from. We can pull this off now and then pull the floor. The seat brackets are here, so it might be spot welded underneath. So if we cut the old pan in the middle and peel up on it, then we can get at that nice and easy. happy with that so far. Now I'm going to let that cool down. I'll have some supper. I didn't do the top lip there because I don't want it to catch fire. We'll do that right off the bat. I didn't want to take the dash out and take that whole cloth thing out. And then we'll be back.
Okay, that's it, all done. Didn't burn through anywhere. I thought it would there because it's a little bit rustier, but all the way along, looks really, really nice actually. Really happy with that. So, looks like I can buff everything down tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it inside the shop, I'm gonna roll it outside. It's not too bad weather tomorrow, so we can have all those steel dust shavings floating around outside, not inside my shop where I've got engines and stuff. This is already borderline for having engines going on. But that's a good night. I'm gonna stick around for another 20 minutes or so, make sure nothing's smoking or smoldering, peel the stickers off, and then we're good to go. I did take the light and stick it underneath and on top to see if there's any light poking through, and I think I've got a nice seal all the way along, so really happy. Okay, we put some seam sealer around that, top and bottom, and she's brand new. So, really happy how that pan turned out. Hopefully sandblasting doesn't poke any holes in there as big as that, but everything else should be good. Hey kitty, what are you doing? What are you doing? Where'd you come from? Yeah. You got a mouse? Where's your mouse? Oh, I can check it out. This isn't the one with the cat in it. This one's got the coyote. Coyote's gonna eat you, kitty. Careful. Yeah. Look out. Look out, kitty. Okay, and there she is. We'll see if it fits. It's gonna be close. Straighten the wheel. Front tires? No. Look at that. I think we're okay. We'll go a little bit at a time. Hopefully they fit between the wheel wells. Uh-oh, it's coming up fast. Still good. It's got like an inch. I have to put the camera at an angle so you can just see the light. I think that's it. I think the small tires on the back did it. I think we're in, I'd say about ½ inch to spare, ¼ inch to spare. Is it gonna clear the lights now? Oh boy. I'm inside. Is that still beaver tail? Hitting the light. Son of a gun. How much more beaver tail is there? Get rid of the tires, because then I won't roll very nice on the way back. So it's in the trailer. I'm just hitting the light. I guess we'll let some air into the front tires. Okay, look at her. Here we go. Nice. So, I just hit the light on the top, so I either have to bring it home on an open deck or pull the light down because she's
want to scrape up the fresh paint.
yeah. So yeah, but like no rat, right? That's nice. The only spot I replaced the driver's floor.
Yeah.
Only because there was 2 tiny spots right where the heel was, and then right in this corner I see one little hole here. But
Okay.
I'm just gonna sandblast it, and then And
So
then
we
from
gonna
there.
do the frame and everything?
Nope,
too?
nope, just the body. We're just gonna, I'm gonna slap some trim clad on it after.
You got the cap or you
I got the cap, but we really don't use it. They got a roll bar for it, and like a full cage, and then a soft top for it.
Oh, cool.
So the soft top's on it all the time. Well, the soft top goes on about the end of June, July, somewhere.
yeah.
And then the sides do roll down, so you can close it in.
Cool.
But why do you have a Bronco when you put the top on and just go by
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. You want it to be open, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy. Let the
Yeah.
through your hair, right? Heavy.
Yeah, maybe one of those there.
Yeah.